Yes, rocking and a rolling. So I wanted to go into something I've been getting a lot of questions about, and I would like to answer them because that's what we do here on the Tiger Fitness channel. So the question is about ketogenic diets. And I will say that I've been doing a lot of reading, I've been viewing a lot of Dr. Bickman's work, Dr. Jeffrey Volek's work. I've been really focusing on learning a lot of different stuff so I can pass the information along to you. Dr. Bickman over at BYU, he's really smart. I like listening to him. So I want to be able to regurgitate this information and hopefully help you guys reach your goals. Now, a lot of people look to ketogenic diet being a very high fat, being 80% fat, low carb diet, as minimal carbs as possible with about 20% fat. So let's say it's 80% fat, 15% protein, and about 5% carbs. The problem is, that forces you to eat in almost an unnatural way, meaning that you're gonna have to be ingesting a whole lot of oil to make that happen. There's very few foods, with bacon being probably the closest thing we have to a full fat meat. And it's not even a full fat meat. It's got a good amount of protein. Ribeye is fatty, but it's still more protein than fat. So the bottom line is, will it matter if you get less calories from fat as you do protein? Now there's three steps that I'd like to go over with how to do this diet, or how to be on a low carb diet and maximize your health. And it's not about being in deep ketosis. I know a lot of people on their ketosis meters, they want to be at 0.5 or above, or they've completely failed life. It's actually been shown that a lot of the benefits from a ketogenic diet can be had with about 30% of your intake coming from carbohydrates. So as long as you keep it under 30%, you're good. However, there are other deleterious effects. And also, if you want to get the autophagy and mimic the effects of fasting, that's what low carb diets can do. And I'll get into who is a candidate and who is not a candidate for a very low carb diet or a ketogenic diet. But the ketogenic diet, even if you're on a ton of protein, very little fat, or a moderate amount of fat and very little carbohydrate, you will still be probably in ketosis, just a mild state of ketosis, where your ketones will read around 0.1 to 0.3. If you want to get 0.5 and above, your fat has to be extremely high, because the gluconeogenesis from protein will convert it to carbohydrate in your liver, vis-a-vis, you have an insulin spike, your ketones are reduced, and blah, 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 you're good to go. So, you're not in ketosis. So here's the three things you should look at when designing a low carbohydrate, higher fat, higher protein diet. Number one is get adequate protein. I don't care what the fuck you think you are, how protein sparing you think a ketogenic diet is. If you want to make gains in the gym and you want to maximize your muscle mass, I do believe that 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per body weight per day is essential. I'm going to go so far as to say, if you're interested in muscle growth or even muscle maintenance, I want to see you at a gram per pound of body weight per day. Is that excessive? Probably. You get away with 0.6, maybe even less. However, I'd rather err on the side of higher. And also, it's going to be even hard to get less than that if you're getting adequate calories with no carbohydrate and you're eating meats. At the end of the day, you're going to be filling your diet with chicken, ribeye, sirloin, whatever your choice is. For example, me, when I go out to restaurants, I enjoy sirloin more. I'm a lean steak kind of guy. So I'm not going to eat enough ribeye to fill my fat needs to be in a diet that is predominantly or 80% fat. So what you got is people literally in a very unnatural state of eating, where they're drinking oil for their calories just to get into this fairy tale ketosis. And I don't think that's advantageous to life or health. I believe there's so many micronutrients. Realize red meat and animal proteins, animal fats, they are the most nutrient-dense source of food on the planet. In fact, one can argue that our brain development is because we were able to go and eat a more calorically dense form of nutrients with all the nutrients you need in meat. So evolutionarily speaking, you're good to go. So, and the question I just saw, I believe a gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's not pound of lean mass, pound of body weight. Why? Because I'm not gonna ask you to fucking do math. It's give or take 10 to 20 grams. Just fucking do a gram per pound. So number one is get adequate protein. Actually, no, that's number two. Number one is control your carbs. Sorry about that. Control your carbs. And I'm gonna explain who needs what kind of carbs. Number one, control your carbs. Number two, get adequate protein. Protein, protein, protein. Number three, and this might sound familiar to flexible dieting, fill the rest with fats. Now, how does that sound familiar? Well, in flexible dieting, number one is get adequate protein and adequate essential fatty acids. And number two is fill in the rest with carbs. With this, the only difference is you fill in the rest with fats. So I actually call this flexible ketosis, flexible ketogenesis. So don't stress keto. Do not stress being in deep ketosis. Do not stress having 80% of your diet being from fats. Just control your carbs, get adequate protein at around 1 gram per pound of body weight, fill in the rest of your caloric needs with fats. There you go. That's the ketogenic diet in a nutshell. And why? Well, people go, well, what about cholesterol? We have shown in recent data that cholesterol levels are not that indicative, being that cholesterol is needed by your body. Your body can only synthesize so much on its own for every function your body has, including hormonal functioning. Cholesterol is not a bad thing. Dietary cholesterol to intake is not a bad thing. Inflammation is what's causing the heart disease and this and that, and that's not really going to be caused much by meat intake. All right, so it's more impactful in cholesterol levels. Insulin's not bad. Insulin's not all bad. Insulin is needed for certain processes. For example, protein is going to elicit an acute insulin response, but not biphasic. And realize that humans over time, we've relied on being able to switch fuel sources. So as you do this, you will become more fat adapted, where your body is able to switch from using glucose to using ketones. And then when you want extra brain function, you can be like me and sip on Ritual AM in your coffee. Makes me smart as fuck. So one question, Robert, who is one of our writers at Tiger Fitness, asked is, what about lean bulking on low carbs? Tricky question, Robert, tricky question. Insulin is the driver of old growth, which is why I believe if you are bulking, there's a place for carbohydrate. And I do think that carbohydrate can help you build muscle. It might also help you store fat. However, I see no problem with someone on a lower carb, higher protein diet being able to throw in a post-workout meal when your body is most receptive to that carbohydrate, to that spike, so to speak, to eat a carbohydrate-containing meal. Or you could even have some fruit or things like that. Remember, a banana isn't all fructose. And also in a fruit, it's not like taking in straight high fructose corn syrup. It's within fiber and the matrices of the fruit and the micronutrients, which make your body know what to do with it. Again, our bodies, the processed carbs and sugar, that's a new thing for our bodies. You throw that shit in your body, it's like, what the fuck is this? Pancreas starts dumping out insulin. You build up that over time, you get insulin resistance, you get diabetes, and you fucking die. Cancer, all that shit is linked to inflammation and basically metabolic syndrome. So lean bulking on low carbs, you can do it, but I wouldn't call it low carbs, because low carbs, I'd assume zero carbs. I'd call it controlled carbohydrate. And in my opinion, anything for most people below 100 grams of carbs is controlled carbohydrate. So you don't have to give up your carbs altogether, but you shouldn't be eating as frequently with as frequent spikes in insulin if you're interested in overall health. So people might ask, what about pump on the ketogenic diet? Well, my opinion is pump is very much driven by carbs. However, once you become fat adapted and your body's able to utilize fat for energy, your body will find itself with better pumps. And also, remember, a driver to muscle pumps is something that the evil fucking government that gave us the food pyramid, which gave us all fucking diabetes. There was no fucking childhood diabetes before 1980. It was when the government came in and told us to get rid of our fat-containing foods, which blunted our insulin, which blunted our friggin' appetite. Bottom line is, you had this situation where the government's like, hey, go ahead and fucking do this, all right? And they basically gave us all type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. So thank the fucking government for that. Since the food pyramid has come in, we've been on a strategic decline in fucking health. And any other thing you could do, there's never been in the history of mankind a fucking public service announcement like that has led to more death, despair, and healthcare costs than the fucking food pyramid. So if you take in enough sodium, electrolytes, I like to take in about 3 to 5 scoops of MTS Nutrition Natural Light pre-workout. Dude, my pumps now are just as good as carbs. Now my muscles aren't as full, But you can always offset that. You can always mediate that, where if you really want to feel full during a workout, time your carbohydrate for the day before training and you'll be good to go. So when to refeed? People ask this all the time. When do I refeed? And the answer is, don't plan. If you're not getting ready for a bodybuilding show, which 99.99% of people watching this aren't, and let's say most families go out once a week. I'm not talking about stopping by Chipotle to pick up a burrito bowl. No, I'm talking about a family dinner. My family likes to go out once a week. That's when you have your refeed. Don't fucking worry about it. Don't plan it. Just have it with fun. Make it fit your lifestyle. It's easy to go controlled carb during the week and not eat cereal for breakfast, but eat whole eggs, than it is to go out to dinner and order special and just get the burger without the bun and yada, yada, yada. And it'll taste fucking good. And generally speaking, restaurants cook much better than all of us, including me. If I'm gonna go to a specialty restaurant in Chicago area, Chicago's got the best food, I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of that meal. So my opinion for most of you is don't plan the refeed. If you're on a ketogenic low carb diet or a controlled carb diet, don't worry about the perfect refeed. Just have a fun meal once a week, or even twice. It depends on where you're at. Just gauge your outcome. And you can control calories just like you measure your macronutrients with a higher carb diet. You can measure your food on a lower carb diet. There are plenty of measurements in FitDay or any of those calorie counters where you can fucking find out the macronutrients for 6 ounces of cooked ribeye. It's not that difficult. So it's a lifestyle choice. If you guys want to live a low carb lifestyle, you don't have to worry about taking in puddles and puddles of oil to make your fat high enough to fit a ketogenic profile. At the end of the day, from the data I have seen, you are just as well controlling carbs, getting adequate protein, and filling in the rest with fat. And that's good to go. What kind of fat? I like a variety. I like fat from beef, which is super high. If you have grass-fed beef, super high in CLA, omega-3s. I like fatty fish. Hell, I eat avocado at least once a day. Veggies are okay, fruit's okay. If you want to fill in your fruit, if you want to throw fruit in your diet, it doesn't have an insulin response like other carbohydrate do, by all means, throw in a couple servings of fruit. Again, controlled carbohydrate doesn't necessarily mean no carbohydrate. We're looking for the benefits of a ketogenic diet. And ketogenic diet, again, has 71% of benefits of fasting for autophagy and other benefits. So again, we're looking at getting the most for what we need without affecting our lifestyle negatively. So bottom line is, carbohydrate recommendations for who? For example, me, I sit on my fat ass all day. I train at like 9 a.m. when I don't have an event. Tomorrow I'm in Tacoma, Washington at Complete Nutrition. I'll be doing an event there, so I'm training at night. Usually I go at 9 a.m. I train. I train for about an hour, and I train pretty intense. Throughout the day, be it post-workout, pre-workout, or later in the day, I usually do about an hour of cardio in addition to my 45 to 70 minutes of training. So I got about 2 hours of activity. For me, that's burning not that many carbs. Now, the body stores about 150 grams of carbs, and your liver can store about 70 grams of carbs. It depends on how big your body is. So my body has the ability to produce well over 200 grams of carbs, 220 if you're gonna be exact, but it's not exact because it varies on the day. So if I'm already producing via gluconeogenesis and what my liver can do naturally, what my muscles hold, if I can already have 100 to 150 grams, I have plenty of carbohydrate to fuel my muscular performance. On the contrary, if you're a performance athlete like my daughter weight trains for 20 minutes a day. She does skill training for an hour a day, and she has soccer camp right now for 2 hours a day. She's gonna need extra carbohydrate to be able to recover, repair, and perform at her best. For her, or any performance athlete like that, a low, no, controlled, whatever carbohydrate diet is not the best. However, I will say that keeping your fat adequate will give you that energy from fat, which will also help you out. So again, how many carbs for you? It depends on you. When I was boxing, when I was getting ready for my fight, I was taking in 800 grams of carbs a day. 800 grams. Why? Because I'd train for 90 minutes boxing in the morning, weight train for 30 minutes, and then I'd run three miles. So I was burning through all this carbohydrate. So the carbohydrate you need is based on the activity that you do. You understand? So let me go over the top 3 things. Number 1, control carbs. Number 2, and controlling carbs means based on what your needs are. Number 2 is get adequate protein. 0.5 to whatever it is. Let's just round up and say a gram per pound, because it's going to be hard to get less than that if you're getting enough calories and not taking in oils. Okay, not that oils are bad. I start out every day with a tablespoon of C8 dominant MCT oil. And then, of course, fill in the rest of your caloric needs with fat. There is a TDEE calculator on Tiger Fitness. Type in the letters TDEE, Tiger Fitness on Google. It'll take you right there. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. It's Q&A time, baby. Let's do this. A lot of them. Hey, I want to help sports athletes and weightlifters on their injuries, maintaining health. Should I pursue medicine in college? Maybe physicians, what are your thoughts? If you want to help sports athletes, you probably want to get a degree in it, because nobody's going to employ you at a physical therapy place without a degree. However, if you want to help athletes as a trainer, there are other things you could do, like exo certifications or mentorships or trade schools. Thank you, John. Wasn't Thursday's live on keto, or was that a different aspect of it? Thursday's live was not on keto. It was on, it could have been, but whatever. It's a Q&A. A gram of protein per pound of body weight, or oh yeah, I already answered that. Oatmeal, yes, it does exist. Carb timing important. Yes and no. At the end of the day, overall intake will be the most dominant factor. However, I will say if you're going to time carbohydrates for optimization, it would be around training. If going for performance, pre-workout would be great because you'll feel the pump. It might give you more cellular energy. However, if looking for recovery, post-workout would be the best. Glucose replenishment happens over 24 hours. It does, Randy. However, you're neglecting a lot of studies that have shown overcompensation of glucose and glycogen if taken in within 2 hours of training. So you're looking at 150% you're looking at about a 50% increase in glucose uptake post-workout as opposed to whenever. So yes, it is over 24 hours. However, if we're going nitpicky, you want to take in those carbs post-workout if you're trying to optimize. However, as for me, I don't give 2 drops of fuck about that, and I will take in my carbs whenever there's a chance to eat a hamburger bun. Supplements are compulsory. What about an all-natural food diet? Yeah, of course. People have lived for centuries without supplements. However, people also haven't been trying to do the epic shit that we do nowadays. So with modern science, it's like, yeah, we could do it that way. Like, we could totally get around in horse and buggy, but my fucking GMC Yukon Denali with 2 TVs in it and a fucking gaming system is much more dope than a fucking horse and carriage. So, Mark, do you agree with keto or not a fan of it? Watch the video. I like keto, but I think some people go over the top crazy with it. I've always been an advocate of controlling carbohydrate. If you haven't seen my first book, which is The Cut Diet, I probably have a copy I could show you guys a picture of. Hold on one second, guys. Let me grab a picture of my first book. Guys, I've been writing about low carb diets since before most of you were fucking here. This was written in 2004. This is the Game Over Cut Diet, the final Showtime cut diet you'll ever need. This volume 3, actually. Here's the first one. This is the G. This is Game Over. I wrote this with Chuck Rudolph and Derek Charleboy. This was written in 2004. So I've been an advocate of controlled carb. Now this diet allows for fruit and it allows for a refeed every 3rd day. So can we build muscle on a fat protein diet alone? Abso-fucking-lutely you can. It's all about being in a hypercaloric state. Does high glycemic index cause bloating? I never understood why people in the fitness industry hate to stay away. Well, insulin's the storage hormone. So when you spike insulin, what will happen is not only will you be intrinsically hungry faster or eat more food because insulin is going to increase your appetite. It's about the insulin-glucagon ratio. And the thing is, when you eat protein and fat, your insulin, whether it's higher protein, lower protein, and fat, your insulin to glucagon doesn't really change. When you eat fat alone, your insulin glucagon doesn't even change. So even if there is an increase in insulin when you eat a protein fat meal, there will be a concurrent increase in glucagon, so the ratio stays the same. Now, if you eat just fat, nothing happens, right? If you eat carbohydrate, that ratio gets all fucked up, and that's when insulin gets too high. Glucagon is the antagonist to insulin, so to speak. Mark, do you sell anything naturally that can bring down blood sugar? Yes, try Nutrient Driver. MTS Nutrition Nutrient Driver, and if yours is always high, control it, man. You're eating too many fucking carbs, I guarantee it. Eat more fat in your diet, and if you have to, like, throw in some fat with every meal. Like, you just completely are eating, you're eating the standard American diet, otherwise known as SAD, SAD. The standard American diet is why we are in a fucking health crisis right now, because those pieces of shit in the government fucking sold out to the fucking sugar lobby, and here we are. From Rohit, keto sucks. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm on TRT is the low carb best for optimizing TRT. Not necessarily, I don't think it'll matter, because in fact, it's even less of a difference for you, Romeo, because fat helps to synthesize hormones. Keto diet ensures that naturals have adequate fat. However, being that you're fucking putting exogenous hormones in your body, fat is less important for hormonal, but remember, fat does much more. Your brain, your fucking brain is 60% fat. So whether you're on drugs or not, you need adequate fat in your diet. Been on keto 2 months, have gained muscle and lost fat, awesome. From Big Jack, I try to eat all my carbs at dinner. It helps with sleep hormones. It absolutely does. Carbs have a concurrent increase in serotonin, hence feeling fucking tired as shit after lunch. Serotonin in combination with insulin will put a motherfucker to sleep. Plus, it's good to have insulin as low as possible during the day when active. I completely agree with that one, Big Jack. I'm at work right now at NutriShop, and since there's no one here yet, I'm just gonna, hey, Jack Cookie Monster, get your fucking store to pick up MTS Nutrition and Ambrosia. I got fucking bills to pay, man. When people say calories burned more than calories taken for fat loss, does that mean in a week? Example, if I'm on a 2,100 calorie diet, most average people don't burn 20. Dude, here's the deal, Joseph, that's bullshit. Cardio should be exclusive from calories burned, because there's no accurate way to measure calories burned unless you're in a lab. At the end of the day, we all overestimate calories burned. We really don't burn that many calories during exercise. It's all about diet. Exercise doesn't burn as much as these motherfuckers think it does. So what I do is I use them exclusively. If I'm gonna raise cardio, I'm not gonna do shit with calories. If I'm gonna raise calories, I'm not gonna do shit with cardio. It's not like if I lower calories, I'm gonna lower cardio because I'm fucking up your deficit that way. Just look at them as two separate tools to use towards a common goal, but they do not necessarily work hand in hand. Drink mineral water on keto, also use some salt. That's fine. Salt the shit out of your meals, because salt's fucking good for you. Sea salt is what I prefer, and put Naturalite in your water. Are things like potatoes or beets a good carb option post-workout instead of fruit or maybe rice? Sure. Yeah, okay. What will break a keto diet? For example, carrots, bananas. It might break you out of ketosis, but the question is, how fat adapted are you and for how long? Being out of ketosis for 20 minutes while your body figures out what the fuck fuel to use isn't a big deal. Totally fucking up your diet and being out of ketosis. Again, like I said beginning of this video, being in deep ketosis isn't what matters. Being fat adapted and having some ketones around in the body, at the end of the day, if you have ketones in your blood, you will have controlled insulin. So you want some ketones floating around, because that ensures you that your insulin is controlled. One easy way to know if your insulin is under control is to see if there's ketones in your blood. What's your thoughts on someone who's 270, 280 for carb intake? I powerlift and play rugby. I know it varies, but it's definitely interesting to find out how much. Jack Cookie, I have no idea. I really don't know, because I need to know more about you, about what you do. But if you're playing rugby and it's intense and you're weight training, I'm guessing your needs will probably be, depending on your fat intake, I'd probably just guess this. I'm pulling this out of my rectum, not even my ass. I'm in my colon right now. I'm in my small intestine. I'd guess around 200 grams a day. All of your products free of banned substances for NCAA? Absolutely, except for protein. Protein is banned by the NCAA up over 30%. Go figure, those fucking idiots. Do you have to be a certified lessons trainer to go to Exos? Nope, the mentorship, you can go. How important are deload weeks and how often are they necessary? It depends on the person and the intensity. For example, if you train like a pussy, you never need deload weeks. If you're a power lifter, always going for new maxes and wave loading, maybe every 6 to 8 weeks. Me, I take deload days whenever absolutely necessary, like today. I've been traveling. I've been going hard at events. I have an event tomorrow, so I went for 20 rep sets today in the gym. But again, it depends on the individual. Hi, Mark. I'm starting my shredding diet, and besides my caloric deficit, are there any herbs or something like green tea to help me out? Carlos, I just put a video up on this, but Machine Lean is a non-stimulant fat burner, and also I have Drop Factor, which is a great product. I got gooned and sent to a treatment center in the wilderness for 4 months. Okay. I played sports again when I returned home, but I never got back. Okay, there we go. I'm going to college on a scholarship, playing football, not paying a dime. Want to know your thoughts on majoring in economics and attempting to go into sales? Being that the only sales degree are available at a couple universities, such as the Ohio State University, I think majoring in economics is an actual fucking great idea. How to get your book, Amazon? Dude, this thing is fucking old. This has not been printed in 13 years. Yet I still get messages on people following it. You know, this is fucking just the shit, man. This book, man, I bet you I could eBay this for something. You know, it has a complete meal plan written out. It's old school. Man, we got some people in shape, though. But now I'm done with sports and should start hitting the gym. Okay. Old timer checking in. I still have your CHA diet book. Oh, cram a nut. You doing it. Weight concentrate post-workout because they concentrate a bullshit post-workout. You're stupid. Nah, I'm not. Nanny, you're not stupid. The people who told you that are stupid. I have an article on Lucky Vitamins blog saying, well, I look up whey concentrate versus whey isolate Lobliner, and you'll see my opinion. Concentrate is always the better choice unless you're severely lactose intolerant. What are the best books article do you recommend for reading for muscle building, losing weight, etc.? Anything I write. Dead serious. Any video I do, anything I write, because I put a lot of work into learning what I know. Bread on a cut, say I'm eating 100 grams carbs today. Could I eat all my carbs from 100% sprouted whole wheat bread? Or is it better for most veggies, etc.? I love Ezekiel bread, and I think it's pretty damn good for you. That coffee mug is as big as your head. Dude, I love me some Ritual AMN coffee. It actually is quite as big as my head. My wife doesn't use these coffee mugs because she says it makes her arms cramp. Best exercise for bigger abs fast? Well, what you want to do is not worry about training abs. Do deadlifts, do squats, do overhead presses, and those aren't going to make your abs bigger, but they will make them stronger, build your core. And abs don't necessarily grow bigger, but they will get stronger and slightly bigger, but I don't know why you want bigger abs. Been working out for 2 years and hit a plateau, no more progress. What can I do? There's a lot to that. It depends what you've been doing. There's no reason why anybody on any program should be working out for 2 years and see no progress at all. I'm the store manager and I'll ask the owner, but here's my email for work. Oh, I'm not going to remember that. I have it spaced out, otherwise it won't send. Okay. Does plain black coffee have calories in it? Don't worry about it. I usually drink about 3 cups a day with a couple stevia. Don't worry about it. It's like 5 calories per fucking 16 ounces. Are you all natural? I forgot. I'm on HRT. I'm not on any illegal steroids. Haven't been since 2013. So I'm on HRT. Hormone replacement therapy prescribed by my doctor. And I feel great. I look great. And I've posted my cycle on the other YouTube channel, my cycle. I've posted my prescription cycle, hardcore. I've posted my prescription on the Lobliner YouTube channel. I will be doing an update today probably. Aside from sources of meat, avocado, nut butters, coconut oil, what would you recommend for healthy fat sources? Whatever you want. Whatever you want. That's enough. Like, don't worry about it. Just get fat and get 5 Ethitech Nutrition fish oil a day or 3 grams of total EPA DHA. What protein substitute I take for NCAA eligibility? Take MTS Whey, but just you can't buy it off your college because they're fucking retarded. Can you replace carbs with fats in your daily macros as long as you meet your daily calories? I don't think so, no, because carbs are not essential, yet fat is. And because carbs do not have the hormonal necessities within the body. So a calorie is not just a calorie. It's the main determinant in fat loss, but a calorie is not a calorie. Insulin and all that. You'll still lose fat on a high carb diet. But again, like, I don't want you just losing fat and getting fucking Syndrome X. I want you to do better than that. I'm going to do boxing and soccer and start my diet with it. What supplements should I take? Pre-workout, beta-alanine, creatine. You're a bodybuilder. Clash, Machine Fuel. That's a very broad question. I have a lot of supplements. Is sprinting uphill 5 times and walking up and down 5 times for 20 minutes good cardio for that, or do you need more minutes? 20 minutes is fine if it's hit. Why not, instead of sprinting up a hill 5 times and walking up and down 5 times, why don't you just sprint up, walk down, sprint up, walk down, sprint up, walk down until you hit 10 minutes? Coach gives us a list of approved supplements for NSAID ability, but let's be honest, the testing is a joke. They're all, look, anything MTS makes is fine. Have a good day, man. Message me on my email, then I'll redirect you to the owner here. I'll try. I'm guarantee I'm not going to remember. I'm Marc, M-A-R-C, at mtsnutrition.com. Does whey spike insulin? That's a very vague question. Everything spikes insulin in excess unless you're just eating straight fat. So the answer is all proteins will have an acute spike of insulin. The bottom line is, does it matter? Absolutely not. It's an acute spike versus a biphasic spike. I don't think whey protein does anything to negate. Shit, I just had 2 scoops of MTS whey and Sinister Labs peanut butter on it, and I fucking loved every bite. What MTS subs do you take pre, intra, and post? I take Clash, Vasky, and Naturalite pre. Intra, I take Machine Fuel and Naturalite. Post, I take Swoley, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and overtraining solution, and then I have my MTS whey with peanut butter usually. Is 85 grams of carbs decent for a day when I weigh 164? My job is a desk job, and I train, I work out for about an hour 15 a day. I try to stay lean 17. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent amount. I mean, it's not too much. You shouldn't have any bad insulin issues. Just talking in a sense where I've exceeded fat intake, but short on carbs for the day and already finished my caloric goal for the day. I mean, yeah, fill in your calories with something, right? It's either protein, carbs, or fat. And if you already hit your fat goal, sure. Hey, Marc, what's your opinion on 20 rep squats and how to equate them sets and reps? How many sets should they be equivalent to? I'm not a big 20 rep squat guy, meaning that I don't know what they're supposed to do or why the fuck people are doing them, because there's really no data on them. So I'd recommend you ask that question to someone who promotes them, because it's not what I promote. Where do you get your research from? Everywhere. I'm always learning, whether it's podcasts, research journals, you name it, or talking to people. Yeah, it's fucking delicious. Love that shit, but I'm doing 2 to 4 scoops daily. Is that still an acute spike? Well, even if you did 18 scoops daily, it's still acute. Like, it's not biphasic. It's basic. It's never biphasic. It's always acute. My grandmother and sister both have type 2 diabetes. I thought about trying to put them on keto, but I don't want to fuck them up. 6, 240, and very sedentary. Jordan, before getting them on any diet, get them off their fucking fat asses and get them exercising. They're not going to follow anything you say. You're not going to put them on a keto diet. They got diabetes on their own. Type 2 diabetes, 99% of the time, is a fucking diet that's lifestyle related. I mean, they're following the bullshit. There's NFL players with type 2 diabetes because they eat bullshit, because they eat processed bullshit. I like to keep eating lean all year round. I'm on a keto diet for bulking. Should I see slow gains while keeping my body fat low? If you're hypercaloric, you get fat. Like, you just have to control your gains to 1 to 2 pounds a month. Can a person cut body fat with 100 grams of carbs or less? Or is that too much or too less? You cut body fat on 1,000 grams of carbs for hypocaloric. Hey, Marc, are you still on carnivore? No, I've never been really a carnivore. Even when I did carnivore, I had MTS whey in there. I've gained 10 pounds of muscle on carnivore. Love your channel. No, I really don't like carnivore on its own. I like aspects of it, and I think it's a great step in the right direction. And I think it helped to de-vilify beef. But at the end of the day, I do believe fruits and veggies should be allowed in anyone's diet. Does apple cider vinegar post-workout affect the carb insulin effect? It absolutely decreases your insulin response, but what I like it for is digestion, and that's when I take it. Is your Barracuda supplement NCAA legal? It absolutely is. Could you make some vids on bodybuilding for teens? No, I'm not really. I already have some. Bottom line is eat adequate food, eat healthy food, and lift weights with progressive overload in mind. I was a juvenile diabetes when I turned 20. I'm not 25 and clear of diabetes. I didn't deprive myself of food, but I watched what I ate. Everything seemed to smooth itself out. That's exactly what it takes. But how do you know that research is legit? Because people talk a lot of bullshit on YouTube. Bro, if I got my research from YouTube, I'd literally cut my dick off, slap it on the screen, and then show you guys me feeding it to neighborhood fucking chihuahuas. YouTube is a cesspool of bullshit. There is some great stuff. Look up Dr. Bickman from BYU. You know, there's a lot of good shit on the internet. Just don't follow the normal fitness channels. You know, most of them are fucking retards. They're fucking uneducated fucking nitwits. Go to the actual scientists. Don't fucking watch normal YouTubers. Could I cut or does that mess up my hormone stuff? Mike, if you're fat as fuck as a teenager, Thursday, I will see you, but it'll be late. I'm going to be late Thursday most likely, and that's not a game.